Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we'll be comparing the Toyota Tacoma to the Ford Ranger. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Carl Malone Toyota here in Draper and the Larry Miller Ford here in Draper for giving me some time with both of the trucks. I'll include a link to both their websites in the description down below. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Powering the Tacoma is a turbo 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed. Fuel economy is 19 around town, 23 on the highway, with power outputs being 278 horsepower and then 317 pound-feet of torque. Powering the Ranger is a turbo 2.7 liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed. Fuel economy is 19 around town, 23 on the highway, with power outputs being 315 horsepower and then 400 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the Tacoma, this one has the TRD off-road package and it's got these really cool recovery points that have been added to the truck. But in terms of features, we've got fog lights, you've got normal headlights, nothing too crazy there. The Ranger has all the same equipment, fog lights, tow hooks, all of that. Everything's blacked out, so it looks a little bit sportier. But I'd say that both the trucks look good. So with the Tacoma, our tire wheel setup is 265 by 70 by 17. And then with the Ranger, it is 255 by 65 by 18. And you can see, got all-terrain tires with both of the trucks. Chunky fender flares on the Tacoma, painted fender flares on the Ranger. See, the badging's blacked out with both of them. The Tacoma doesn't have side steps. The Ranger does have side steps. And by the way, both of these trucks are equipped with independent front suspension. They both have solid axles, but the Ranger has leaf springs, whereas the Tacoma is coil sprung. Here's the side profile with the Tacoma, and then here's the side profile with the Ranger. Now, the Ranger doesn't have bed liner, but it does have an outlet in the bed, and bed size is pretty solid now. The tailgate's actually very light. It does have a ruler on it too. Cool taillight design here. You can see parking sensors with the rear bumper. And overall, I think, again, the rear end of the Ranger looks good. Now, the Tacoma has a little bit more equipment in the bed, and you can see that little USB, 12 volt, all of that. Yeah, we've got lights here in the bed. We've got an outlet, protection from the factory, so it's a little bit more loaded up. Tailgate's light, got Tacoma stamped. We also have a little bumper step there. So yeah, the Tacoma does have a little bit more equipment in the rear. With the Ranger, we've got soft touch and stitching here. Got nice cloth trim on the seat. Legroom is tight. It's a mid-size pickup truck. You can see we also have a little storage, USB, another outlet. And then window is manual. Now the Tacoma is actually more basic with the trim, got TRD right there. We've got cloth here in the seats. Legroom's a little bit tighter than the Ranger, but it's pretty similar. Got another outlet with some cup holders. And then the rear glass, and this is actually power. Now, quick look at the interior. You can see we've got nice soft touch trim here. The mirrors power fold in. Got blind spot with the mirrors. Payload is 1366. And then we've got these cloth seats here with the Ranger, manually adjustable. Got your light controls, steering wheel's manually adjustable. Digital gauge cluster in the Ranger, nice trim around the steering wheel, by the way. Now, stuff like the locking diff is built into the screen, and this one does have a 360 camera. And then you notice we've got a 2-speed transfer case there with some drive modes, including off-road modes. This is like your shortcut for the off-road modes, including shortcut to the diff lock. We have a wireless phone charging pad, shifter for the 10-speed as well. But yeah, overall, I think the Ranger interior is pretty darn nice. Now with the Tacoma up front, they at least give you some nice padding there. Blind spotting with the mirrors. Payload is 1,200 pounds. And then we've got cloth seats. Now this does have an upgrade over the Ranger, and that's the fact that the seats are power in this. We also have auxiliary switches from the factory. Steering wheel's manually adjustable. Just like the Ranger, you got a digital gauge cluster. Nice trim on the steering wheel. Got a cruise control and all of that, just like the Ranger. Smaller screen, just a backup camera, no 360. And then we do have heated seats, so that's an upgrade over the Ranger. You can see the phone charging pad. It's supposed to have the TRD shifter on it, but yeah, it's being hidden right now. If you know, you know. Anyways, got a rear locking diff, selectable button rather than being in the touchscreen like the Ranger. And then it does have off-road and on-road drive modes like the Ranger, crawl control, all of that. So off-road tech's actually pretty similar, and it has a 2-speed transfer case as well. And like I said, power sliding rear window, so you got the button for it right there. Now when it comes to pricing, as equipped, the Tacoma is about $51,000. The Ranger is about $48,000, so about a $3,000 price gap. Let's see which one performs the best. Well, let us set off in the Ranger. Everything all blacked out. And the V6. It's a pretty cool truck, right? Got the cool looks, got the cool engine. Yeah, it's got some basic elements to it, but I don't mind. I'm okay with sticking the key in the ignition. I'm okay with manually adjusting my seat. It's not bad at all. Easy enough. Talk about torque. It's so cool that Ford offers a V6 in the Ranger. And I mean, the mid-size pickup trucks we have today are pretty crazy, right? We get, like, all of them have, pretty much all of them, not all of them, but pretty much all of them have at least one engine option with over 300 horsepower. And this you can even get with the 400 horsepower if you go for the Raptor. And then, yeah, almost all of them also offer some engine option with over 400 pound-feet of torque in a mid-size. It's pretty cool. It's impressive. That's for sure. I will say the Ranger, the ride's good. I love the size of it. It feels so nimble, maneuverable. And again, that's the mid-size. Even though this uses leaf springs, it stays pretty planted with the rear. It's pretty darn easy to maneuver overall. Steering's good too. And the torque that this provides, it's impressive. The horsepower is pretty good too, but the biggest thing is the torque. And this 2.7's been shown to be a pretty darn solid engine, so you can't complain. So with that being said, I think this is solid packaging. I think this truck looks good, it drives well, and the engine adds quite a bit of excitement and obviously versatility, right? More powerful engine means you can do a little bit more with it. Well, let us set off in our Tacoma that doesn't have a little shift head. I'll just say it. So Salt Lake has a huge theft problem. Some people argue with me, but as someone who worked at a dealership up here and also lived up here, I can tell you, yeah, it's a huge problem. And I mean, compared to Utah County, it's like night and day difference. Like here in Salt Lake, if you like left one of your doors closed but unlocked, like you're probably still gonna get robbed in certain places. Whereas down in Utah County, like you could leave your garage door open, your car running with the keys in it, and leave it for like a week. Let's just pretend like the car would still be running after a week and someone still wouldn't steal it. So just different worlds. But yeah, you'll see this happen a lot with dealers. Well, they'll like take off headrests, they'll take off shift heads and everything, because people just straight up will come into the dealership and just steal them. It's crazy. It is crazy. And that's why I don't live up here anymore. Beautiful place though. So the Tacoma, we're gonna take a shorter route here. We're getting the refuel light on. It happens. It happens. What I will say is the seats in this are a little bit firmer with this cloth trim. They're not uncomfortable, but they're definitely firmer. Sorry, the GoPro view is gonna be horrible here. I've got to try to see over a window sticker, which is not very good. Okay, this person's being, let's go. So torque is good, not nearly as much as what you have with the Ranger, but it moves. I will say the rear end feels like it's a little bit more planted than the Rangers. So that's, I think that's a bit of an improvement. Sorry, we're just gonna turn around here. I just don't want to run out of gas. And I've driven the Tacoma so many times. This is more for me to just to tell you guys the difference. Yeah, the suspension compression's just a little bit better with the Tacoma. What I'll say overall, so I mean, if you took away some of the features, well, what does this have that the Ranger doesn't? Power seat, power sliding rear glass. But then you have less power on the powertrain. So I'd say the Tacoma is just more expensive. It's just more expensive. Because even if you took away those two items, that might save you like, what, on the cost of a car, like 50 bucks, 100 bucks? Not that much. So, I think the Ranger's a better value out of the two. I actually kind of prefer the Tacoma's, how it drives. And I've read that this 4-cylinder's got tons of low-end torque. It's fantastic. And they're hybrid. I've got that in my 250 Land Cruiser. It's a great powertrain. I like it a lot. But Ford coming in with a V6, they're just, that's heavy swinging. That is heavy swinging. And I think it's going to pay off. Oh, also push button start, because the Ford, you have to stick the key in the ignition. But again, all this stuff is like no big deal to me. Maybe some of you it's like a deal breaker, but let me know which one you'd go for. I do think though, with this comparison, the Ranger's a little bit of a better value, but you do also have to kind of deal with Ford reliability a little bit. But what I will give credit to the Ranger is that's built by the Australian team, and Australians are much better at building cars than Americans from what I've seen, because they care about, right, they got the Outback, they care about reliability and durability. Americans just care about having stuff be big and fancy. And so the Ranger's probably, I bet that's probably the most reliable Ford there is. So you do have that also to go in its favor. So let me know if you're going to be buying the Yoda or the Ford.